Hey, Dawson, how you doing, man?
What's up, Dad?
Good to see you. Thanks for your time. I wanted to ask about Tight End University. How much of an honor is it to be invited to that thing?
Oh man, super excited. I know George pretty well. I've met Travis a couple times and Greg too, but super excited to get with those guys. It's actually in Nashville. It's literally, I think the hotel we're staying at is probably a 5-minute drive from where I stay. So it'll be fun to kind of be in my own stomping grounds with all the guys around the league. I got a bunch of friends coming. Evan Ingram, I used to play at Ole Miss with, is going to be there. So I think that'll be a pretty good weekend.
It sounds like a good hangout time, but what are you hoping to get? What are you expecting to get professionally about from, being around all those guys?
Oh, it's going to be great. We're going to break down a lot of film. We're going to do I think a couple of hours every day of on-field work and kind of just some drills that each of the guys like. I think it's going to be kind of a forum to where like every guy can kind of show a couple things that they like and a couple things that they see on film. It's kind of everyone brings their own perspective on stuff, so we can kind of learn from everyone and their different styles of play. So I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Sounds fun, man. Enjoy it.
Oh yeah, thanks. I'm excited. Yep.
What's up, Dawson? Matt Perino here. Good to see you.
What's up, Matt? Good to see you.
Not much. Big off season for you. I want to start with working out in California with Josh. It seems like you guys spent a lot of time together. What was that time like? What did you guys specifically work on? And, just take me inside a little bit. What was the whole experience like?
Oh, yeah. So it was great being with Josh. The house that I was staying at was probably 15, 20 minutes down the road from him. Went over to his house there a few times. He's got an awesome setup. Got to see him and Brittany a little bit. Even played some board games, went out to dinner. But it was good hanging out off the field. But on the field was great too. I mean, we just did a bunch of routes, and it was kind of during our first phase of Zoom meetings. So if there was like a new play or a new route concept that Dave's was installing, we were able to take it straight to the field. He kind of worked through some of the points where he would, tell me what he's looking for, like when to give him eyes on certain routes. So just some real little details that we were able to hammer down on some of the new stuff, which was nice.
And how much are those details so important when you're going full speed? You guys didn't have this period last year. I know you had the workouts in Florida, but how important is it ironing out those details now so that you can kind of play fast when the time comes?
Oh, it's crucial. I mean, that's, our philosophy is the only way to get better at football is by playing football. Like watching film, being on Zoom calls is good. It's a good foundation. But in order to really work on that chemistry and really get some of the timing down, you got to do stuff full speed. So it was great just kind of putting those first bricks down to start building up what we want for the season.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Dawson, it's John Scott. Good to see you, man.
What's up, John? Good to see you.
Just in general, obviously, we talked last year extensively about how you were a quarterback in high school and you transitioned at Ole Miss and things like that. So where would you say you are in your development as an actual full-time tight end?
Yeah, I mean, it's just every year I try to, just keep stacking good games on good games. And right now I'm just focused on this offseason, what I can do every day to make myself into the best tight end I can possibly be and the best tool I can be for this team to win games. So I think it's just taking one day at a time and focusing on, one or two things a day to just keep stacking those good days on good days. But, I'm ready to, I feel like I haven't touched my potential yet. And I'm ready to take that next step. So I'm really excited for the season.
What about last year? Obviously, that was challenging for multiple reasons. I don't know. I don't want to call it a lost year, but I mean, how much did that kind of stunt your growth with the position and especially at the professional level, understanding that it was a challenge to get out there again for a few reasons?
Yeah, I mean, the first half of the season was a little rocky between the COVID deal and the calf injury. I had a concussion that put me out for a game, but the second half, I felt like I was really able to start putting together some good momentum. I'm not sure exactly what my stats were through those last few games, but I feel like I was definitely on the right track of, starting to get my feet under me, starting to have some good momentum, starting to get the timing right with Josh. So I'm planning on, taking how we finished last year and just keep that good momentum going for this year.
And quickly, this time last year, a point that I know you said you emphasized in the offseason was shoring up your hands and continuing to elevate that. Did you do anything different? What did you do And is that still, one of the top places you're focusing on?
Oh, for sure. That's my number one focus. I don't want to be dropping touchdowns, and I know no one wants to see that. But yeah, so I actually did a bunch of stuff in California with this. I don't even know exactly what you would call him, but he's like a hand-eye trainer. He works with tons of guys across the NFL, NHL, MLB. And it's crazy the different types of tools he has, whether it's catching stuff from a machine shooting ping pong balls at you, or looking at a screen and touching stuff and doing eye movement assessments. It was really cool to learn some of the stuff that he had. And I was with him every day for about 6 weeks or so. And he actually shipped me a bunch of stuff. I've got this, it's called Robo Pong machine, where it shoots out ping balls with different curves at you, and you just work on catching them. So that's definitely been a big emphasis for me. So I feel like he was able to really help with that.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Stiff Arm, Mookie Hawkins, Buffalo Sports Today. How's it going, man?
What's up, Mookie? Good to see you.
I'm hanging in there.
Like those shades.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Just my OTA frames right here.
I might need me a pair of those.
I got you. Don't worry about it. But going into this year, man, year three, we always expect everyone to hit that big step in year 3. So what are some of your expectations going into this season?
Yeah, so kind of like what I touched on earlier, I felt like I started to really stack some good games on good games and really start getting some good momentum and starting to earn the trust of Josh and just little things like that. So I plan on, keeping that positivity going, and also just, whether it's doing more hand-eye training or getting with Josh kind of off the field, especially during this little break we're about to have after mini camp between down in camp, just anything I can do to help this team, win games and win championships. That's my number one focus, So I feel like I'm ready to take that step too, because I feel like, I've had some decent years, some decent stats, but I'm far from, I'd say, content with my game so far. So I'm really excited to, see how the season goes.
Absolutely, man. We know you definitely have all the tools to be the dynamic tight end that they drafted you to be. And, and you talk about working, training at game speed with Josh, but as a tight end, how difficult is it for you to process having patience in pass catching situations?
Yeah, so that's also a big thing. Depending on the concept, depending on the play, you can be open too early. Like, that's a thing. You don't want to necessarily beat your guy immediately when the ball snapped, because Josh might not be looking at you yet. So that patience of just knowing Josh's progression, knowing what he's looking at in certain coverages, and knowing where to fit is huge too. And that's something that just comes with playing a lot. So thankfully, with 2 years under my belt, I feel like I'm starting to see some of those things that I had no idea were even a thing. Like my rookie year, I was just out there with my head spinning, hoping I ran the right route. But now, I'm able to start focusing on some of those intricate details that Josh is looking for too.
Absolutely, man. Expecting you to have a big year this year. Looking good so far. Enjoy
Thanks,
camp.
I appreciate it. Can't wait.
Hi, Dawson.
Hey, Vic, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Great. Dawson, fascinated by this hand-eye thing you talked about. Do you have a name of who the guy is?
Yeah, so his name is Ryan Harrison. His brand is called Slow the Game Down. He's kind of under a company called Neurodynamic Vision. There's a couple guys that work there, but yeah, his name was Ryan Harrison. I would train at the Anaheim Ducks facility with him out in Orange County. So it was a pretty great setup. Some of the stuff was crazy. Like, it would, work your eyes in a way to where you feel like you're almost hypnotized, and you're working eye muscles, and you never really understand that your eyes are muscles too. So they get tired. We would do stuff that would make you feel like you need to take a nap, just the way your eyes were working. So it was really interesting, but I really started to like it. And I felt like my progress from my first day with him to my last day was pretty great. So he shipped me a bunch of good stuff, and I'm planning on going out there for a little bit this offseason too, or right after minicamp.
Right. And the time span was like you worked with him for a matter of, say, how many weeks?
So 5 days a week for 6 weeks. So 30 days.
Cool. And he's based in Southern California. Okay.
Yeah.
And Dawson, right after the season, like literally, days after the AFC Championship game, Brandon Beane spoke with us. And he was, obviously it was feeding off of what Travis Kelce had done, particularly in that game. And the thought process was to the line, we don't have the kind of guy at tight end that would scare teams. Basically, he was saying the way like a Kelce would. I don't know that he specifically said Kelce, but we understood what he meant. I'm not sure if you were aware that he had said that, but when the GM is kind of saying that kind of thing shortly after a game like that, and I realize, things are kind of raw too after a loss like that, but how did that strike you at all as, of course, a tight end on this team?
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to get to the point where I am that weapon for our team, and Travis is the best in the league right now at what he does. So I talked with him some after the game, and we're planning on getting together at the tight end U thing, which I'm excited for. I've got his number in my phone, but it just comes from watching film and getting on the field and starting to, feel out some of the stuff that he can see pretty quickly. It's really not just running your route and being in the right spot. It's kind of how well can you adjust on the fly? How well can you read coverages when the ball snapped? Because defenses are so good at disguising coverages. Safeties are moving around. Linebackers are, showing blitz and then they'll drop out. So it's just starting to be able to kind of catch on to some of those things, which I felt like I was able to do more and more as the year went on last year, that I'm kind of excited to keep building on. And I definitely feel confident that I'll be able to do that this year. And I know that I want to just keep stacking those good days on good days.
And I know you don't take anything for granted, Dawson, but the fact is, what's interesting, I think, from the whole upshot, once he said that, of course, the natural thing was, okay, they're going to draft a tight end. They're going to, and people wanted to mock a tight end to the Bills in the draft or go into free agency, whatever it might be. And we know the talk is still out there that they might trade for a guy. Zach Ertz's name. I'm sure you're aware of that. Bottom line, though, is as we speak, just what you said, it's your chance still very much to be what they want to be. I know there's other tight ends on this team, but I'm saying you're so far, it looks like their plan is still very much what can you do to help them? Are you drawing some kind of confidence that they didn't draft that guy, or are you still sitting there saying, oh shoot, they might still make a move? How do you look at it?
How I look at that stuff is whoever they bring in, that's just great competition for the room. I love that Jacob's here now. He's a great dude. I've enjoyed getting to know him some. He lives 5 minutes away from me downtown in Nashville, which is cool. But I think no matter who they bring in, it just elevates everyone's level of play. Like when I was at Ole Miss, I was a walk-on. I was learning behind Evan, who was an All-American. He graduated and they brought in 3 4-star recruits that same year. And I feel like that elevated my play to where I earned the starting spot that same year and kept that spot, through my years there. And then was able to come in as a rookie and earn the starting spot. So, I mean, it was just, I think no matter who they bring in, whether it's a rookie or a, all pro like Zach, I think it'll be great just to elevate competition because, iron sharpens iron. And that's a big philosophy that I have. So it's great having Jacob here too. We're learning things from each other. We're competing, but also, building some good team chemistry to use multiple tight end sets and stuff like that. So it's really not what can I do to be better than the guy next to me? It's what can I do to make myself the best player I can. So it's fun when you get new guys in the room because it kind of elevates everybody.
Dawson, thank you so much and all the best through the rest of the offseason.
Yeah, thanks, Vic.
Hey, Dawson, I'm going to sneak in one more here because I saw John Feliciano tweet the middle finger emojis at Lee Smith on his first day because he wasn't he's out now with the Atlanta Falcons. Talk a little bit about that and just, not having Lee here, Tyler, who was here for your first 2 years and the different dynamic of the room now with those guys gone. Yeah,
I mean, everybody in the building misses Lee, especially John, as you could tell. I'm sure he was crying while he was typing that, but I mean, he was like a big brother, from the second I got in there, he took me under his wing, kind of showed me how to handle myself in the locker room, how to, talk to coaches the right way, how to be in my playbook, how to handle practice and injuries the right way. I mean, he was crucial for me in my development, I think. And obviously Atlanta is getting a great leader and a great player, arguably the greatest blocking tight end ever play. but he's definitely missed, especially from the leadership and the locker room standpoint. I mean, he was, kind of that intermediary between the players and the coaches. He always had our backs, and he was able to talk to the coaches on how, we want to structure things and how the coaches want to structure things. And he was able to, always kind of get us to where we were, agreeing and on good terms. But he'll always be like a big brother. He lives in Knoxville, which is just a few hours from Nashville. I'm planning on seeing him whenever we're done with OTAs. So I know they're coming up to Buffalo to play. So I'm going to try to fight John for that jersey swap, but I don't know how that'll go. But it'll be fun to see him and his family.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Matt.
Hey, Dawson, Jenna Cottrell in Rochester. Hope you're doing well. Just curious, as you enter year 3 now, what do you think you kind of learned about yourself throughout, especially last season, going through the injuries and everything like that?
It's just, I think a lot of it's mental toughness and just staying locked in. That 10-day quarantine was one of the most frustrating things I've ever dealt with in my life, because I had COVID. That next day I had a headache for half the day, felt a little tired. And then the next day felt completely fine, but I had 9 days left of sitting in my apartment, couldn't leave, all my food was delivered to me. The trainers were awesome, hooking me up with, whether it was emergency or even they brought me some stuff where I could get my calf right. So, we had a great support system here, but it was just mentally I just felt so distant from the team, couldn't see anybody. I was watching the games on TV, which was super weird for me, just being on the couch while your teammates and brothers are out there, doing what we've been, working for all year. But it's just staying mentally checked in and mentally tough and being able to know that I can get over whatever injury comes my way, whatever setback, whether it's, a mild concussion or someone else is starting to play more than me. It's just, staying mentally checked in, because when I get that opportunity, I want to be able to make the most of it.
And then for you, where do you evaluate your play? And now as you enter year 3, having, a rookie year to go through last year, where do you see yourself? What do you think are your strong suits? And then where do you evaluate and say, hey, I want to improve on this?
Yeah. So like I kind of mentioned earlier, I felt like I really started going in the right direction the second half of last season. Obviously the whole year didn't go like I planned. I wish that I was able to start from a good point, game 1, and go all the way through week. I guess it was 20 games that we played, or 19. But, I really want to keep focusing on just the hands thing. I don't want to be dropping any balls. I know that's an obvious thing. But at the same time, I know my abilities and my athleticism to where I can get out and run routes against whoever covers me. And I feel like I can create that separation that's needed. And also in the run blocking game, I feel like that's something that might have come the furthest since my rookie year. I feel like I have been able to, learn from Lee a lot. Coach Boris has been awesome. Just learning small techniques to where I can get the job done and not necessarily be like Lee, but do my job that's needed to be done so we can run the ball well too. And just kind of, I want to be the full tight end. I don't want to ever have to come off the field. So if it's pass protecting, if it's run blocking, if it's running routes against corners and safeties, I want to be able to do it all. So I don't think there's any part of my game that's reached, its full potential. So I'm just going to keep working on everything and, try to be that perfect, well-rounded tight end.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks, John.